Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel, What the Beck. Today I'm going to be doing a bit of a life update as I show you some footage of me organizing my stock items, and I basically really needed to organize my stock items because I have a few craft fairs coming up and like holiday events and that type of thing, and everything was kind of just shoved in there and it wasn't really categorized, so I really needed to do this so that if someone ordered something online, I know exactly which bin it's in to go get it. And if I want to go to an in-person market that's focused on a certain theme or something, I know which things I should bring compared to which things I shouldn't. So yeah, that's kind of what's going on in the background. I'm going to be showing some of my more like interesting or favorite things to the camera. So keep an eye out for that. But I'm just kind of going to be rambling on for the audio portion. So yeah. I have had a lot happen in the almost 1 year since I picked up posting YouTube videos again. Basically, I had to move house, get a new job, get a car, and a bunch of other stuff. I got married in June of this year, and that was a whole process of its own of just figuring out what all needed to be done and doing it and emailing people and calling people and registering things and unregistering other things. And I'm almost done with all my marriage stuff. I still need to get my like driver's license name changed and a few other things, but I've got most of my really important stuff done, so I'm excited to finally have it done. But yeah, I'm married. It's kind of surreal. People keep asking me, how's married life? And it's like, it's the same. I already lived with the person who became my partner or spouse, I guess. So yeah, we're still in the same kind of living situation. Our apartment is really tiny and it's really hard to run a business out of it. So we're hoping to move again pretty soon. With the help of my lovely family who helped us last time, we're gonna get basically the equivalent of a house plus a studio plus a warehouse into something that's more house shaped instead of room shaped, because that's where we currently are. It's like a 2-room place with a tiny kitchen and a tiny bathroom, and it's livable, but I think it suits one person better than two. And even if this was just my house or apartment, it's really cramped compared to the amount of stuff I have. And for a while I kind of battled with myself about how much stuff I have and should I have this much and all that. But as someone who is fairly rational most of the time, the things I have are either supplies that I use for my business or things that I've collected over a really long period of time, or valuable things, like things that I value a lot, like my Lolita fashion collection is not something I use every day, but I think they're worth taking up the space because I either spent the time to make them or saved up the money to buy anything in that closet. But yeah, that's kind of the biggest thing that's kind of weighing on me right now is like, our house is so small. It's really not a house. And there are things in boxes from when we moved in that it's just more practical to leave them in the box than to unpack them at this point. But yeah, I have been working on making some more of my own designs and writing up patterns for them, which I know people really love crochet patterns, and I really love inventing new little guys and things that people can recreate, because I think that's one of the coolest things about crochet is that if you see something, there's a standardized way to tell someone exactly how you did it. And with sewing and drafting patterns, it's kind of more freeform, I guess. I mean, you take the measurements and there's guidelines, yes, but crochet, it's so customizable. But at the same time, if you see a pattern and you want your item to be exactly as you see it, you can just go get that exact yarn, use that exact hook size, and barring any like tension issues, it's gonna turn out the same. And I love like the kindness within the crochet community of like, oh, here's this pattern that I used, and like spreading it around, and then there'll be little phases where someone's pattern gets really popular and everybody's sharing it around and making them and sharing all their little chickens or their little rugs or whatever is popular at the moment. I remember like a few years ago, bun hats were like the big thing, and everyone was so excited about bun hats, and everyone was making all these different bun hat patterns. It was just really cute. I love having hobbies that have like a nice community along with them. Some things like cosplay and furry, they're just so broad that sometimes it can be a little like you can't really say many generalizations about it, but from what I've seen, crafting communities, in particular the crochet community, is just very kind and like well-spirited and like willing to share and everything, and I just love that about it. So yeah, that I've kind of been focusing more on crochet, and you can probably tell from my videos recently, I do plan to do other crafts on my channel. It's just that I've been having so much inspiration and like drive to actually do these patterns that I've been coming up with, and I really love the concept of a paid written pattern and a free video pattern, because I've definitely worked my way through some free video patterns before when I couldn't afford patterns, and I think that by selling some of my own patterns I'll be able to afford some other ones that I may want to have, and that's always a good business investment, because if you make something for yourself and then you have the pattern and then someone orders another one, you already got the pattern. But yeah, I've been kind of trying to brainstorm some big ideas, so I'm really good at freehanding the little things, and I love making amigurumi and like toys and stuff, but at this point, you've seen this video, this whole little thing on the wall here is full of stock, and I have even like another few big bins in my bedroom closet, because there's no room here, full of things that I need to sell. So I'm trying to avoid stuffed items for the time being, and I'm trying to favor larger projects that take a bit more time and maybe effort, or they're a little bit more complex. Especially if it's one that I'm designing, I'm trying to make it something really interesting and really just like mind-blowing, which I know it's I'm not expecting myself to be able to do that every single time, but just some of these things I've seen are like amazing, and it's really inspiring to see what people have made or their ideas and like how they came to life. For example, EcoShoon is like such an inspiration to me. Like honestly, they changed the game for me when it came to freehanding crochet and even like approaching garments made of crochet, and just their approach to like, hey, measure it, see if it fits. If it doesn't, you can always change it. And they have a lot of videos where they use like different textures of yarn, which is something I've really been getting into recently, is getting more comfortable with different textures of yarn, like eyelash yarn, or I think it's called Huga yarn, or boucle, or like the homespun Lion Brand stuff, and some more natural fibers too, which I find that I really prefer the natural fibers when it comes to making something for myself. So I've been building up my stash of wool yarn in particular. So I have a few ideas for things I might want to make in the fall with some of that. But yeah, getting more comfortable with those different textures and all. I've done that in my recent series of witch hats, which are now on my Depop if you're interested. I think I put one on at some point in the video, but I have maybe like 7 of those in stock right now as of recording this. But yeah, those are super fun because you can just do any stitch you want. You can do double-stranded, you can combine different textures of yarns. The one I made that I really loved is a green one, or like mainly green and some brown, I believe. And it's basically to look like moss. I put the eyelash yarn around the, like, typically where you'd see the band of a witch hat, like a comic witch hat, that little band is where I put the eyelash yarn to look like moss, and I really loved how that came out, and it actually inspired me to do another project. And I was going to work on it while recording this voiceover, and I just haven't because I'm so captivated by telling my own story, but it's a moss sweater. So the sweater is going to have all these different patches of like green and brown and maybe some gray, I'm not sure just yet. But as of right now, I just worked up the bottom ribbing of the sweater, and I don't know if you could hear that fly that just flew by, but he's on my phone now. Get out of here. But yeah, I still have ADHD, if you can't tell. I might be getting on medication for that soon. I talked to my doctor, and then my insurance was like, this isn't approved, and I was like, it clearly says that it's approved on the website, so I'm just waiting for that to get figured out. Related to that, I have been at the same job since October, and I'm really excited about that. It's almost been a year since I've been there, and I love it so much. For security reasons, I'm not going to say exactly what it is, but it is a public service position, and I can directly see the people I'm helping. And a lot of it is kind of tedious. There's a lot of paperwork and a lot of double checking things and typing numbers and checking names and that type of stuff. But it feels so freeing to me to know that once I go home, I'm done with work, you know. And back when I was doing fursuit making full time, it kind of felt so rushed, you know. We had a lot of things to do and new techniques to try at client requests and as tests before we did them on client suits. And it was just I felt like I always had to be working, or I was always thinking about it. And now I can rest. I don't always have to be making a fursuit, which honestly is really hard on your hands. I mean, people say crochet and knitting is hard on your hands, and it is, but to a certain point you can get like a muscle memory and what is it called? You build up your muscles, and then they work better and they don't get sore as much. Well, the fursuit making, it's so tedious, and using a curved needle is its own kind of HE double hockey sticks, but it's very hard on your hands. Even though like you're just using fabric and foam and like soft materials, some of the tools and all that, like big scissors and the turkey carver and all that, it can be a lot. But yeah, I feel a lot more secure, definitely, now that I have this job, and my partner is very supportive of me. When I said before that I got a car, that is entirely thanks to him. He got it for me as a, well, it wasn't really a wedding gift, but it was more just like, hey, I know things are crazy right now, but I'm proud of you for getting a job, so here's a car so you don't have to like buy one yourself, which is like honestly the best gift I've been given is that car, because I can go wherever I need to, wherever I want to. I can pick up things, I can surprise people, I can get to work a real job, which I honestly didn't think I would do well in an office job, but when I have the accommodations that I need, like earbuds or like breaks and being allowed to sit on my feet sometimes, it really is working out well for me, and I'm really happy about that. I'm also on antidepressants because in my absence of YouTube, I was having a very dark time, and a lot of really heavy thoughts were in my brain, but I'm happy to say that they have lightened, and when they do return, I know it's because I forgot to take my damn medicine. And I can kind of deal because I've developed some like strategies and things with my therapist, who I also got, a really amazing therapist that I'm so grateful for her. But yeah, so I have my coping strategies. I'm still pursuing an official autism diagnosis, but my therapist agrees that I've got a lot of the traits and a lot of the trauma that comes from being an undiagnosed autistic child. So that's another thing that we're learning about me. But yeah, one of the things I really realized that I needed fairly frequently is my friends and family, and I've been making a concentrated effort to hang out with people more, especially after the wedding. I saw just how many people had like positively impacted me or like were along the way with me so far in life, and that I still love them, so I want to hang out with them. I do a lot of like online hanging out on like Discord and stuff, but I've also been making an effort to kind of invite local friends from like high school over to my house or plan like movie days with them. I'm gonna see about going on a trip to one of my online friends' like festivals. You might have noticed that in a lot of my videos, more so in the past, because I'm just waiting on him to release more music. But Signcaster is one of my close friends, and he was like a huge help for like all the wedding planning and stuff, and in charge of like the music and the DJ stuff and like the party aspect of it, because I wanted part of it to be like a rave. He was also the guy that ran inside to grab our vows when we forgot them. So we were standing up there for a little bit, and I was like, thanks, Gabe. Thanks for going to get our vows that we left inside because we were so excited to just go get married. But yeah, so he's a musician, and he makes really amazing dance music. And yeah, so I've been making an effort to hang with him. I met his partner, and one of my closest friends just recently got a new partner, and I've been enjoying getting to know them as well. And yeah, just it's really important for me to have social time, and I'm still an introvert, but I've come to terms with the fact that having the social time in the like most accommodating way for me is not as draining as being in like a public space per se, or like maybe a party but it's like hosted by my mom's friends, and having the familiarity of like, I know these people, I've known them for years, I get to like hang out, and even like reconnecting with some of my old friends. It's so awkward for me sometimes, and I don't know if it's specifically the autism or not, but I have really bad memory problems because of my ADHD, and I can remember some things about my friends, but there's other things that I'm like a little awkward at first, but so it's nice to kind of push past that finally and like get to hang out with them again. And like one of my closest friends from middle school, even, that was like, what, it was 10-12 years ago, they came over to my house today, and we just drew and crocheted while watching like time-lapse videos on YouTube and like art videos and stuff, and that was amazing. I just loved doing that. So yeah, that's kind of where I am. I have also been working on getting my yarn stash under control. Like I said before, I have a lot, but by kind of pushing myself to use the other like textures and variegated yarn in particular, I found a few techniques that really work for variegated yarn that I might make a video about. Let me know if you want one of those, if you have a lot of variegated yarn in your stash. But yeah, I've been specifically working on using up what I have, not necessarily before buying more, because I found some really great deals on wool yarn at a secondhand store. It was crazy. It was like that store had more yarn in that thrift store than like the entirety of the local yarn shop here. But anyway, I haven't been buying new acrylic yarn, and I haven't been buying new yarn just because it looks pretty, except for on my birthday when I got a gift card, so it didn't really count. But yeah, so I've been doing that. I've been kind of prepping for Megaplex, which I'm going to be leaving for in about 4 days as I'm recording this, and you'll probably be seeing this while I'm in Florida for Megaplex. It's kind of been overwhelming for me. I don't know why. I guess because I'm coming off of a point in my life where everything feels really stressful, so I feel like I should still be really stressed. But I've made my little packing list, and I just gotta start packing, so I'll probably do that once I'm done recording for this video. I have been kind of absent from TikTok in particular, but also just the furry fandom, and I honestly, it's kind of been good for me. It's been good to have a little break and not be making content every day. I feel like making content is its own kind of chore in a way, and sometimes it's more like comes more naturally, and like I know exactly what I want to post, or I have like a meme or joke that I can tie into something that I can advertise. But I've been considering hiring an assistant or something, just someone to help me like plan when things are gonna go up, even if I'm the one that has to do it. And I might hire my sibling for that, because they're also very like picture perfect, like to organize like me, and I can pay them some money to do it. I can probably pay them like $25 a month, but still, it's what, maybe like 10 or so posts that I can put on all platforms, and then I can post like text posts or like work in progress posts myself. But yeah, I really need to get back into advertising my stuff, because for a while there, when I was fully self-employed, I was able to do it really well, and especially when I was in college, I did the 100-day challenge on Instagram, and that was pretty helpful for my following. But yeah, that's about all I have to update y'all on. I hope you enjoyed the time lapse, and here's a little extra clip of Baby. She's doing very well. She's still a kicker and a biter, but very cute, so we'll forgive her. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!